What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we are going over how to use a controller in NBA Infinite. Like and sub for more amazing gaming content. First thing we got to do is we got to download this emulator. It's going to be LD Player. You're going to download this on your PC, and then I'm going to walk you through step by step how to go ahead and configure all of your custom settings. Link is down below in the description box. Once you click that link, you're going to be hit with this page specifically. You're going to click where it says play on PC. It's going to download LD Player on your PC. Then you're going to open it and launch it and install it. After you have it installed, you're going to be met with a screen that looks like this. So this is the LD Player main menu home screen. We're then going to search the game. We're going to type in NBA Infinite right there. We're going to click enter. Going to show up. We're going to click there. We're going to click install. You do have to sign into your Google Play, so make sure you go ahead and do that as well. The other way to access the store is also just click on where it says system apps and then go to the bottom where it says Play Store, and then just go ahead and sign into your Google Play this way if you're having trouble through the actual LD store, and then just search up the game and download and install. All right, now once we are in game, we got a lot of customization that we got to do to get this perfectly right. So we're going to go over to our settings menu. We're going to go to where it says custom UI, and we got to set this up properly. This is like the most important step. If you don't follow this step by step, you're going to have a horrible experience. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to reset it so you can see every single thing. It's going to take a little bit of time because we got to do this for everything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make all this a lot smaller, because right now it's just like there's way too much clutter. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on our joystick, and we're going to make this button as small as possible. From there, we're now going to start setting up our custom keys with our controller in LD Player. So what we're going to do is we're going to click in the top right corner where it has the little arrow button right here. This is going to open up this additional menu. We're then going to click where it says keyboard mapping. So you could do this with the keyboard too if you don't want to do it with a controller, but we're going to click here, and then we're going to go to where it shows the little controller icon. And now we can go ahead, and it's pretty much just as simple as dragging and dropping, overlaying our custom input keys over the specific touchscreen buttons that are shown. So first one I already did. Let me click out of this one. Let me just delete some of these so we can do it step by step so you can see everything. The first thing we got to do is our joystick, how we move our player. That's going to be this icon right here. It says control the move direction in games. This is the left joystick. We're going to click this. We're going to drag it. We're going to drop it right over. And we're going to make this a little bit smaller, so I want it to completely like match up perfectly. So all you're doing is just matching it up right there. Looks about good. Perfect. So now whenever we use our joystick, it's going to simulate that we're touching the screen for that to move our character. Now the next thing is we got to organize a lot of these buttons because they're just all over the place. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start just making all of these like a lot smaller. The first thing, we're just make all these buttons smaller, as small as you can put them. It's also going to make the game look a lot better because it's just not going to be so like cluttered with all of these big buttons just all over the place. So we're making all this small. All right, so we got our shoot button. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up all in the bottom, and it's very important to do this in the specific way because when we're overlaying and putting our buttons, they need to line up properly. Otherwise, when we go ahead and we push X button to do one thing in on ball offense, it's going to be something completely different when we are off ball offense. So make sure you line up everything properly. So we got our shoot button right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and we're going to click the A button, suitable for general taps. We're going to drag and drop this right over the A button, and then all we're going to do is click whatever key on our controller we want to mimic the shoot button. So for me, I'm going to click the square button. It's going to show up as X because it's going to show like inputs for an Xbox controller, but it doesn't matter what controller you're using. You can use PlayStation controller, Xbox controller, whatever. Just remember that it's showing X, but I clicked the square button. So whenever I push square, it's going to push that area. So it's going to push the shoot button. So we're going to shoot. We're going to then go ahead. We're going to click save. We're then going to drag down the crossover button. Now the pass button is going to be very important, so make sure you pay attention to that part, because there's a way that we can actually get this to have a very accurate pass as well. So for crossover, I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to drag this to the bottom. We're then going to create a new button. We're going to put it right over the crossover. For crossover, I'm going to make that my circle button. So I'm just going to click circle. It's going to show up as B, but I'll remember. All right, let's go down for the post button next. Post button, I will make, what will we make the post button? Let's make the post button R1. So I'm going to click the R1 button, and it's going to show up R1 right there. It's going to show up right bumper, and we're going to actually layer this for the pass button. We're going to move the pass button a little bit further away from the others for a reason. So we're going to go back here. What we're going to do now is we're going to drag a general tap. So we're going to put that over there. Now for our tap, what we're going to do is we're actually going to click the right stick. This is very, very important. You do it this way, so that way you can do the accurate pass and choose who you want to pass it to. If you don't do it this way and you just use like X button as your general pass, then it's just going to randomly pass to anyone. So we're going to use our right stick. We're going to click with the right stick. So it's going to say right joystick down. That means I clicked with it. And you see that the button's kind of big. That's why we want to space it out a little. We are then going to go to our rotate the view in 3D games. This one right here on the right side. We're going to click and drag this. And this is going to control with the right joystick. So we can go ahead and move this around. What we're doing is we're overlaying this over that pass button. So what this means is that when we click in on our joystick, we're going to hold it. We're then going to use the right joystick and point to whatever player we want to pass it to. And then when we release off of that click, it's going to pass to whoever we're pointing to. So basically you're pushing in and then you're moving it still to point to whatever player you want to pass it to. And then when you have it lined up, you're then going to release it and it'll pass it to that player. All right, so then we're going to go ahead. We're going to click save. You can also put a button for your cancel pass as well. Like you could do like a left bumper or left trigger, whatever it may be. We're then going to go to off ball offense, and this is going to change. So it's obviously going to be different. We're just going to make this smaller and it should still line up perfectly, but we do have to go ahead and adjust these. Now, the good part about this is we already have the buttons lined up at the bottom. So you can see our X button, B button, right bumper, and then our right joystick. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put call for pass as our X button. We're then going to do setting screen as our B button, which is going to actually be our circle button. I'm going to go ahead for my rebound button and line this up. I'm going to make this triangle, which is going to show up as Y. Now the dominance button is going to be the other one that's going to be really important so we can activate our special ability. I'm going to drag this one all the way down. I'm going to make the dominance button the left trigger, so LT2. Then we're going to go to defense. Same thing, we're just going to make this smaller. We're going to make all of these smaller. We're going to make our steal button at the bottom, which shows up as X, but that's actually going to be square for me. Our quick chase, we're going to make as circle. I'm going to move the defend button down a little, and I'm actually going to make a new one for the defend. So we're going to make a new one there, and I'm going to make that A, which is going to show up as X on my PlayStation controller. We can go ahead and we'll just clean this up and move these alley-oop pass buttons out of the way. Click save, confirm, save. Then we're going to do our last one, which is off ball. Again, it's very, very simple. Once you kind of get everything set up, you're just pretty much just lining everything up. So we're just going to go like this. We're going to make our boxing out button B, which is going to be circle for me. Make our save button the square. Our dominance, again, over the L trigger. One additional thing is when we are putting our right joystick over, make sure you increase the sensitivity of that right joystick. It's going to be very low at the beginning. It's going to show like sensitivity 1. So bump the sensitivity up to like 9 or 10 for that right joystick. So that way it's easier for you to use the directional pad to make an accurate pass. All right, we are in a quick practice mode. So you can see this in action. We got our joystick right here, which is controlling our character. So we can go left, right, up and down. Super smooth and easy to use your controller. As long as you follow step by step the guide that I showed you how to set up the controls, everything should work great. We have our shoot button for our square. So as I push this, you'll see we shoot. We also have our jump button as well, which I put as a triangle. So every time we push triangle, we're jumping. We also have our post up, which is our right bumper. So as we hold this, you'll see we enter the post up move, and then we can do a post up. And then we also have our crossover too, which we put as circle. So every time we push circle, we're doing a crossover move as well. Super simple, super easy, a ton of fun to play. It makes the game a lot easier and just in general a lot more fun. The biggest problem you are gonna face though is that the game isn't optimized for emulators specifically. So a lot of the times the game can crash when you're playing on something like LD Player or BlueStacks. And it has nothing to do with your computer. It's just how the emulator and the game are. They just don't really bind together very well. So just be cautious of that and understand that you may have an occasional crash or two when you're in the middle of a game. So that's the only downside to using this method. Also, if you're trying to launch the game and it just isn't launching and it keeps coming up with like an error and it just keeps kicking you back to the home screen, just delete the game and then re-download it. It will still save all of your custom settings or your touch screen, so you won't have to go back into the menus and make all of the buttons smaller again and readjust them. It automatically saves that, so you don't have to do that, but you may have to delete the game and then re-download it if it's not opening up properly. Again, that's the only unfortunate thing to this method, but there really isn't any other way to use a controller to play this game until they put maybe dedicated controller support, which I don't know if they're going to do that, but we'll see. But for now, this is what you can do, and it works pretty well for what it is. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.